some of the earliest memories you have of music?
I remember sitting in the bedroom listening to the Beatles, Paul McCartney and Wings, and Fleetwood Mac, like on repeat, and just listening to the lyrics. I remember, I think the first like album that somebody gifted to me was no, that's not true, because I had the Fleetwood Mac and I had the Sgt. Pepper's, and somebody else gave me the Synchronicity albums, the Police. And I mean, I must have listened to that thing a zillion times. So yeah, those the earliest memories of that. My own writing, I just remember writing, little songs in the kitchen with my sister. We'd put on these little talent shows after dinner when we get bored cleaning up, and we'd sing with the broomstick and that whole bit. But we'd make up little songs. But she'd always want to sing the cool parts, so I never got to sing the cool parts. I was always either her backup singer, or, So yeah, those are my earliest memories of that, and just doing some poetry, and that was my whole beginning, I guess. Yeah.
You battled stage fright when you first got started. Do you have any tips for other musicians out there that might be going through the same thing?
Just do it. Do it over and over again. I actually challenged myself to, I took a few classes that were supposed to help overcome the anxiety of that. I mean, I suffer from anxiety in general, so I have an anxiety issue. So that was one thing, and it was about managing. I think what I learned in that class that I took way back when was about just being really well rehearsed, so that, that takes that part out of it when you can sort of go on automatic. That doesn't help all the nerves, and I don't think you want to completely get rid of nerves. I mean, I know a few people who always say that they're 100% comfortable on stage, and that's great. But most people get butterflies, or, they get a little bit nervous and a little anxious and whatever. And I think that adds something sometimes. So I don't think you want to get rid of everything. If you're not a little bit, excited, with the anticipation of it all. I think, but the more you do it, the more you get up in front of audiences, the more you realize, oh, I know how this is going to go. I'm nervous now, but I know this is how it's going to end up when I'm up there. Or I know what to do when I screw up, because it's going to happen, if that's your big worry about, screwing up or something like that. Everybody does. I remember one of my favorite concerts was Jamie Cullum in Austin. And the first song, he had 3 screw ups in a row in the first song, and he was just laughing into the microphone about how funny it was. And I was just like, yeah, that's just the way it is. It's a live show, and that's what makes it fun and exciting. Little bumps in the road. But yeah, just get out there and do it. Keep doing it over and over and over again.
In college, you almost gave up on music altogether, but eventually you ended up getting a degree in music education. Can you tell us how all that came about?
The path I was on, music, was like strictly a hobby. I was kind of like, well, I can't make a living doing this, and I can't, everybody around me, so it's not a realistic thing to do, and it didn't seem like anybody would believe that I think people I went to school with, when they found out later that I was a singer-songwriter, they're like, really? Like, you weren't in, plays, or you weren't on stage, that sort of thing. So I think it was kind of a surprise to a lot of people. But so I never really considered it seriously when I started college. So I was studying something else completely different. And then when I had a nervous breakdown my freshman year in college, and when I did, the only thing that brought me comfort was writing music and writing songs. And so I just did that constantly. And I think that's when I realized that was really the only thing I wanted to do, seriously. And so then I moved back to San Antonio. I was living in Austin at the time, and I moved back to San Antonio, and I started taking music courses. And then, and even then, well, I just, learned the basics of, music theory and all that other stuff. And I was at a community college, and I was said, okay, well, that's good. That's all I need to know. And one of my instructors, who happened to be the composer in residence at the San Antonio Symphony, Alice Gomez, just sort of pulled me aside and just said, you're not quitting. you're not like, you're being a chicken. Just, you need to go and finish this. And I was like, okay. So I went and finished it. And she was right. I was just sort of, copping out because I was, I guess it's just lack of self-esteem or lack of, feeling like I was taking myself seriously. And she actually took me seriously. So I owe her a lot for that boost of confidence and saying, yeah, you can do this. Don't think that you can't do it, or don't think that you're not going to be able to finish it, because you can totally do this. And so that's what I did. And then the rest is history.
Poetry has always been a big part of your life. Have you found that helps you with your songwriting at all?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think you have to necessarily, I don't know that not all songwriters are poets necessarily. I mean, I guess you could say in a way, but I don't know. I used to think that it hindered me at first because I had so many people at the very beginning saying, your music sounds too much like poetry. It's like too poemy, make it catchy or make it whatever, more pop and I don't know. I'm not really good at people coming in and saying you should be like this. It tends to sort of pull up a wall because I'm like, that's not even what I'm trying to do. What are you telling me what I need to do when you don't even know what I'm trying to do? So I don't know that it helped. I mean, I think, well, in some ways it did, because I did, Grady Hillman is a poet who sort of mentored me a little bit. And he gave me some instruction on how to write in a way that did impact my songwriting later, questions to ask myself in the writing process, just to have a more unique perspective in what I was writing about. So there were definite things that I think I learned along the way by writing poetry that lent themselves to the songwriting process.
Most of your songs based on real life experiences or things you see other people go through?
They're usually based on my life experience. A lot of the music, the majority of the music will come from some really strong emotion that I personally am experiencing. Occasionally there's songs about, what other people are experiencing, but it always comes back to how I identify with what they're going through. So yeah, I mean, and I've looked at some of my friends who write these great story songs about other people, like people they don't even, know. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even understand how you do that. I think it's great, but I don't even understand because I can't, it's not that I'm not empathetic or that I can't put myself in other people's shoes, but it's really difficult for me to think in that way. I have done it. And there are songs, especially when I was doing all the songwriting, song a week projects that, it's like, I only have so much material in my in my head, in my feeling storage or whatever. So, you have to start using your imagination a little bit more. That's it. Maybe I'm just lazy and using my imagination, and I just go for stuff that's literally happening to me. So
has it been hard balancing music and being a parent?
I think it's always a challenge in everybody's, for anyone who's a parent, mother, father, or whatever, especially now that fathers take a far more active role than they used to in child rearing and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's a challenge. I mean, sometimes you just can't put on that musician hat. You have to put on the parent hat, and then you're like, I mean, and you feel so far removed. At least I do. I feel so far removed from the person that I am when I'm writing, when I'm parenting, because you just can't focus on anything. That's something you can't really multitask very well, parenting and, and doing something else creative. So yeah, I mean, it's a challenge, but I don't think it's any more difficult, than any other person trying to do that as well.
You're very passionate about helping in your community. Can you tell us about some of the causes you've been involved with?
Sure. There's definitely some causes that are super close to my heart. The San Antonio Rape Crisis Center, and all the work that they do for people in need or in a crisis, victims of sexual assault. And so I'm really happy to work with that organization. I've worked with the food bank before. I've done some benefits for them. I follow closely things that have to do with equal rights and causes that have to do with conservation. But I float around to different organizations. It's whatever cause at the time that I feel needs the most attention at the moment. I think the No Hate campaign is an awesome campaign, and so my husband and I participated in some of their activities. These are all causes that are close to my heart, and I think it's important that I lend myself to them, not even as a songwriter necessarily, just as a human being, because somebody has to, if you have a calling in your heart, especially I think for me, for the gay community and for the transgender community right now, that's a big deal for me. I have friends and family in the community, and I can't stand to see them hurt, and to have some compassion in that situation, everybody to have some compassion in that situation. So that's another, a cause that's really important to me as well.
For the season, you worked with longtime friend Jake Owen. What started out as an EP ended up being a full-length album. Can you tell us how all that happened?
Yeah, that was fun. I love Jake. He's amazing, and always loved working with him. He grew up in San Antonio, so he used to play guitar for me on a number of occasions, and he's just contacted me and just said, hey, if you have some stuff you want to record, or you want to write together or something, let's do that. I've got this studio that I'm putting up in my place. And I said, okay. So I had a couple of songs, and we recorded a couple of them, and then he said, I've got a song you want to write, lyrics to it. And I said, sure. And so we did that. I think the first one, we did a song called Unending together a while. So we'd had that song. And then we came back and did Everyone Gets Lonely. And when we did Everyone Gets Lonely, it was like, okay, yeah, this is cool. We're getting somewhere with this. I just finished my Song a Week project, my first one for 2012. And so I had all these songs, and I said, let's just do a whole album. Let's just go for it. We have this EP, and I had some interest from some promotions, places, radio promotion and that sort of thing. So I just figured, well, I don't want to just give him a couple of songs, but I can give him the whole dang thing. So Jake has wonderful, musician friends, and he's got a great ear for, got a great style and a great ear for arrangement. And I was just really happy to work with him on that project, because I think he got the heart of what I was doing with those particular songs, and he really, I felt like it was an important step for me, because it was sort of going in a different direction for me a little bit. And then he actually, this next CD that I'm doing, one of the songs on it, he also produced that one. But then his life just got really busy. He was touring all over the place. And so I was ready to get back in the studio. So I'm back with my producer, Mac Damon, who did my first two albums, and that's going really well.
You've been compared to artists like Natalie Merchant, Tracy Chapman, and Norah Jones. But who were some of your inspirations?
I can say that, well, with the exception of Norah Jones, I can say that definitely Natalie Merchant and Tracy Chapman were people who I definitely looked up to. I get compared a lot to Natalie Merchant just because of the sound of my voice. And I was never trying to be like Natalie Merchant necessarily, but I think to me, I saw her back when she was with the 10,000 Maniacs. I saw her live in concert. And the thing that I really felt that I took away from her was her sense of compassion. So, that came through in all her songs. It came through in her live performance. And I think that's what I took from her mostly. It was never this idea that I need to sound like Natalie Merchant necessarily. and Tracy Chapman, I mean, the same thing as well, just sort of her social awareness through her music, which is funny because I don't think a lot of my songs have that necessarily, even though my life, you know, I feel like I lean in those directions. And the only reason I don't include Norah Jones in that is because I really did, you know, I think I saw her in concert. I was well underway what I was doing, and she wasn't an influence, but I do love her music. I mean, I think she's amazing. And I had a chance to see her when she came through Austin, opening for John Mayer before either of them. That was the year, that was before they both won their Grammys, because they both won Grammys that year. And I didn't even know who Norah Jones was. I had no idea. She's that girl over there playing the piano. Oh, she's got a great voice, you know, but it was not, I had no idea who she was. But other than that, I think I spent the most time listening to Sting, Paul McCartney. You know, I grew up listening to a lot of James Taylor and Carole King because of my parents, you know, that's just music that was around the house quite a bit. And then I started performing, and I think people that my music, I'm looking up because I have CDs on all my walls. So I'm looking up because my fellow musicians would hand me people, and I'd go, oh my gosh, like I'm looking right now at Joan Osborne and Sean Colvin and who else? Oh, Duncan Sheik. Cannot forget Duncan Sheik. Ryan Adams and Chrissy Hine from The Pretenders. I really idolized her quite a bit, actually, just her, just who she was. And then somebody introduced me, my bass player, JP Layout from my band, introduced me to Joni Mitchell. And I knew 2 songs of hers. I knew Big Yellow Taxi, and there was one other song that was super popular, and I can't remember the name of it. That's all I knew of Joni Mitchell. I didn't know her music. And then he's like, you just need to sit down and listen. And then I was like hooked forever. She was just on repeat. I could not get enough of Joni Mitchell for quite a long time. So yeah, those are a lot of the people that I think were big. Just sort of, I just sit there and just be mesmerized, and they were all very inspiring.
I'm gonna put you on the spot and ask you if you could share the stage with any artist, past or present. Who would that be?
Chrissy Hine, probably, of all those people to actually perform with. Oh, but our music, you know, is so different. I don't really know. If I wouldn't say Sting, but he scares the living heck out of me. I don't think I'd be able to make words. Like, I don't think I'd be able to form them, you know, get them from my brain to my mouth. The first time I saw him in concert, my husband was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Because you're not moving, and you're not, like, your eyes are glassy." Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. Ben Folds. Oh my gosh, Ben Folds. That I would love to perform with Ben Folds. I think he's amazing. Okay. And he would be fun, like super fun. I don't think I'd be that nervous. I think I would just be like, this is awesome. I'm just going to have a really great time, and it's going to be the best ever. So maybe Ben Folds. Yeah.
You started a new subscription service on your website. Can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah. That's it. It's actually through Bandcamp, and it's lauramarie.com. And once you subscribe, you get the new CD. I've actually done it to where you'll get the actual physical CD for subscribing. And then on top of that, you get the last 3 records, solo records that I've done on download. So it's like, if you like the music and you haven't had it, you know, now you have it all. And not only do you have it all on your, if you have the Bandcamp app, it's like right there on your phone. So it's downloaded to your iTunes or whatever, or wherever you keep it. But also it can be accessed right through the Bandcamp app. And so that comes with all of that, plus the Song a Week. I was doing a Song a Week project this year, and I mentioned to you before I'd gotten sick. And that kind of dragged on for like about a month, and I'm still kind of working that out. So I took some time off from the Song a Week just to focus on my health. But I still have songs that I'm going to at least put out one a month to that group exclusively, because I used to just put a blog out with all the music. But for the subscription service, this year every month I'm going to try to give at least one song to them that I've written. So So all that, and also, you know, discounts on merch when we have those things out there. And it's just, I think it's, you know, pay $20 or whatever more you want. If you want to pay more than that, you can too. And it's for the full year of just all the music, all of it. So that's what that is.
Where's the best place to stay up to date with your music and everything you have going on?
Yeah, that would be Facebook and Twitter. I'm on both of them. So and Instagram. I'm like on all those. I'm very into social networking, mainly because when I started starting my solo career, I was pregnant, and so I was I wasn't going to go out a lot, and I wasn't going to play a lot of bars. I mean, here in San Antonio, that was before the smoking ban in bars. And so I wasn't going to be hanging out doing that sort of thing. So I spent a good deal of my time starting my solo career on the internet. And so I think I've been hooked ever since. Maybe a little too much. But yeah, I'm always posting stuff on either Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
Did you have any final thoughts for everyone watching?
No, just, yeah, check out my music. That would be awesome. That would be great. If you haven't heard it, I would love for you to listen and especially to hear the new stuff that's going to come out. I mean, I'm really proud of these songs, you know, and I'm excited. I'm, you know, excited to get them out there.
Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Our interviews are made possible by the support we get from our patron fan club. For as little as $1 a month, you can sign up for the patron fan club and be eligible for all the great benefits listed here on the screen, including the opportunity to win some great music downloads, and merchandise from your favorite indie artists. And the best benefit of all is knowing that all the money pledged goes towards helping get the music of indie musicians out to new fans just like you.